Hey friends, you're listening to Nostalgia Nation, the audio edition. I'm John Toma, also known as that 80s dude. And somewhere between late December 2025 and how is it already February? I realized something. I didn't make a New Year's resolution to watch 150 Kung Fu movies. I had already started, actually. It's like I felt called to return to something I loved watching when I was a kid. So there I was scrolling through Amazon Prime, and The Invincible Armor was suggested. And I decided to rewatch it, remembering just how cool that movie was. By the way, for those of you that have watched the Kill Bill movies, Tarantino pulls from this film as well as a few other Shaw Brothers films. Now, what began as casually rewatching a few classics turned into a full-blown immersion. Shaw Brothers logos and beats, Golden Harvest fanfare, bad dubbing, flying wire work, villains with eyebrows sharp enough to cut glass. Before I knew it, I was deep into a Kung Fu marathon. And you know, after binge-watching and rewatching more 70s and 80s martial arts films than any responsible adult with a mortgage probably should, I learned some things, or at least relearned them. Not just about Kung Fu, but about life. Now let's be clear, I grew up on this stuff. Late night, Channel 4, Kung Fu theater, grainy prints, ninja shadows on the wall, just under a handful of channels and pure imagination doing the heavy lifting. Now these movies weren't just a pastime for me. They were mythology. And binge watching them now, decades later, feels less like nostalgia and more like excavation. So here's what they taught me. Lesson number 1. Simplicity is powerful. Kung Fu movies don't overcomplicate things. There's a hero. There's a code. There's a villain who broke it. Justice will be delivered. And once it's delivered, end of movie. I mean it. It's the end of the movie. And a lot of these films just end abruptly on the final kick. It's funny. It's crazy. And I think the point is that good has triumphed. So get on with your life, damn it. Now, when I rewatched 5 Deadly Venoms, for example, which was Playground legend, by the way, it has masked warriors, centipede, snake, scorpion, lizard, and toad. It hit me how elegant the storytelling is. Clear archetypes, clear stakes, no cinematic universe homework. Although, I will say Kung Fu aficionados, they have a name for the Deadly Venom actors appearing in many films together. It's referred to the Venom mob phenomenon. But I digress. So there's like no twist for the sake of twisting, and just moral clarity wrapped in choreography. Modern storytelling sometimes feels like it's afraid of simplicity. These films weren't. And that confidence to tell a simple story that builds and builds, it still works, you guys. But simplicity alone doesn't carry a film. You need transformation, which brings me to the second lesson. Discipline beats talent. You know, I was rewatching this 36th Chamber of Shaolin. As an adult, it hits way different. As a kid, I loved the training sequences, the water buckets, the bell, the swinging logs, the vengeance. And as an adult, I saw the philosophy. The entire movie is incremental growth. Chamber by chamber. Failure. Adjustment. Endurance. No shortcuts. No montage magic. Just repetition. It's basically a 2-hour meditation on delayed gratification disguised as Kung Fu cinema. And at this stage of life, that lesson lands harder than any flying kick. Now, let's talk about legends. Because you can't binge this genre without noticing something else. You're watching culture shift in real time. So lesson 3, legends reshape culture. Watching Bruce Lee again is anthropology, you guys. Enter the Dragon still radiates presence, and Bruce Lee occupied space differently. He carried philosophy in his posture. Now, each of his films has a type of villain and various types of henchmen. There's a love interest in most, but not all. Serving justice is greater than personal ambition or comfort. Then you watch Jackie Chan come in and flip the tone entirely. Drunken Master, Police Story, Project A. Suddenly the genre breathes differently. Bruce made martial arts mythic. Jackie made it funny and acrobatic. He stumbled, he improvised, he weaponized ladders, for God's sake. There was a week where I watched a Bruce Lee film and then followed it up with a Jackie Chan film and kept repeating. Watching these films back to back, you can literally see the genre evolve. You're watching tectonic plates move. That's what binge watching does. It reveals patterns. And here's something else I didn't expect. The flaws didn't bother me at all. They became part of the charm. So let's talk about lesson 4. Imperfection has texture. The film grain, the obvious wires, the hilariously fake beards. As a kid, I didn't care. As an adult, I appreciate them more. Sure, they're far more obvious, especially the hairlines. Now, these imperfections are fingerprints of a filmmaking ecosystem. Shaw Brothers Studios weren't trying to polish things to a Marvel-level gloss. They used what they had available. They were making art at speed, with choreography, with sweat. Most modern films are immaculate, but sometimes immaculate feels sterile. Kung fu movies have texture, and texture feels human. And then there's this. I really expected a lot of nostalgia, but what I really got out of it was a lot of joy. Now, lesson 5, joy doesn't expire. I still leaned forward a little during final fights. I mean, have you guys watched the final fight between Jackie Chan and Len Lo in Drunken Master 2? It's insane. I still laughed at the dubbing. I still felt that joy when the villain finally gets what's coming to him. Now, there's a scene in Office Space, if you recall that movie, where Peter, played by Ron Livingston, awkwardly asks Joanna, played by Jennifer Aniston, if she wants to come over and watch kung fu movies. When she lights up, that felt like cultural validation to me. Some of us never stop loving this stuff, and that's okay. Joy doesn't age out. But maybe the biggest lesson wasn't cinematic at all. It was personal. So here's lesson 6. The kid is still in there. I'm not the kid watching Kung Fu theater at midnight anymore. I get that. I've got responsibilities, deadlines, expenses that don't care about Shaolin philosophy. But give me 90 minutes of flying kicks and temple bells, that kid in me shows up instantly. Eyes wide, fully invested. Binge watching these films has helped me reconnect with that kid inside. There's so much crap out there that just screws up a potentially great story in modern films. And that's just not the case with old school Kung Fu flicks. They tell the damn story. No BS. No politics and agenda. It's good guy versus bad guy. It's about growth and getting better. Now, albeit mostly improving your Kung Fu. And, the big takeaway, Kung Fu is in everything. And maybe that's the real training montage. Not becoming someone new, but remembering who you were before the world told you to be practical. So what did I learn from binge watching Kung Fu movies? 1, that simplicity works. 2, that discipline compounds. 3, that legends reshape culture. 4, that imperfection has soul. And 5, that joy, real joy, doesn't expire. Now, I may not hit 150 films exactly on schedule this year. Life has a way of kicking you right in the junk even with the best plans. But somewhere between Snake Style and Jackie Chan ladder fights, I found clarity. And sometimes clarity comes wrapped in grainy film stock and badly dubbed dialogue. Now, if you're feeling buried under modern noise, maybe throw on a 70s, 80s, or even 90s Kung Fu flick. The kid on the couch might still be waiting. All right, friends, that's a wrap on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If it resonated with you, share it with someone who grew up on late-night Kung Fu theater or wore out a VHS tape rewinding the final fight scene. And if you just discovered Nostalgia Nation through this episode, make sure you follow so you don't miss what's coming next. You can find everything Nostalgia Nation at that80sdude.com, including the full archive and the monthly magazine. In fact, issue number 2 just dropped, and I'm really proud of this one. Until next time, time travelers, keep the tape rolling and stay rad.
Yeah, I know some people fighting. Maybe it's for something real, but the truth that they